Hi, everybody. It's Danny from Missouri Homeschool Alliance. I wanted to pop on here real quick this evening and give you a legislative update for what has been happening in Jeff City this week. The first thing I wanted to touch base about is that on Tuesday, Governor Kehoe gave his State of the State address. And during that speech, he announced that he intends to direct $50 million from the General Revenue Fund to promote school choice. You guys have been around. You know how we feel about government funding for homeschooling, how we feel about the ESA program in Missouri called Mo Scholars. And so I wanted to let you know that this is kind of what we're facing this year. We have no legislation particularly that's come out of that yet that I have seen, but we just want you to know that we are watching and aware that this governor intends to put a bunch of state money into homeschooling and private schooling. There are two bills that will be in hearing this week, one in the House and one in the Senate, that do affect homeschoolers. And so I wanted to touch briefly on what those bills are and kind of give you a heads up in case you were interested in learning more. The first bill is called SB 63. That means Senate Bill 63. It's sponsored by Senator Ben Brown, and that bill will be heard in the Senate Education Committee very early on Tuesday morning at 8 a.m., Tuesday, February 4th at 8 a.m. That bill seeks to establish provisions related to participation of certain students in non-traditional education settings. What does that mean? That means it seeks to standardize access to sports and specialized classes, arts, music, etc. in the public school for homeschoolers and virtual public schoolers that are public school enrolled but doing that program at home. Across the state, different districts have different approach to participation, and this bill seeks to standardize that across the state and basically say that you are allowed to participate in those activities without having to be formally enrolled in public school classes. That bill also seeks to remove from our statute that optional declaration of enrollment. You know, when people pull their kids from public school and you hear us always saying, don't sign the school's forms, don't sign anything, give them our letter. This is a declaration of enrollment that is optional in our law, but it has only led to potential problems for families. And so this bill seeks to remove that from our statute, which great. Now I want to tell you, if you choose to have your child participate in public school sports or activities, you are going to be subject to whatever regulations the school places on those students who are enrolled in those activities. Okay, so whatever the school wants, you're going to have to comply with that. So make that decision about whether you think that is worth it or not. We always would say, if you want sports, if you want music, if there's not something available in your community for homeschoolers, consider reaching out to others that are interested and starting something. You'll be blessing a huge portion of your community. Okay. The second bill that's being heard this week is House Bill 31. That's sponsored in the House of Representatives by Bishop Davidson. This one he's calling a homeschool protection bill. And I'm going to tell you really briefly what it does. It seeks to add probable cause. So when there is a question of a homeschool family being guilty of educational neglect, the prosecuting attorney, who currently is the only person who can see our records, they would now have to show that they had probable cause in order to open an investigation into your family. And then also, House Bill 31 seeks to remove that declaration of enrollment. So both bills are doing that. I will say that as an organization, MHA does not, we're not keen to say we support legislation of any kind, really. We have, in our experience, seen a simple, easy bill that's 1 or 2 pages blow up and become a huge omnibus bill of 400 plus pages. And so it's very early in the game for us to say, oh yeah, we're for this. You're not going to probably hear us say that we are for legislation. You may be for it, or you may be against it, or you may be neutral on the situation. As a Missouri citizen, you have a right when a bill goes to hearing to testify. So you can go to the Capitol. 31 is being heard on Wednesday the 5th at noon or upon adjournment. So sometimes they finish up on the floor a little earlier than noon or a little later than noon. That committee meeting will happen right after they finish up on the floor on Wednesday. You have a right to go testify and be heard. You have a right to submit written testimony online. And if you check out our blog at MissouriHomeschool.org, I wrote a really long blog post today explaining these 2 bills, other things that we are watching that are not in committee yet or whatever, but we just wanted to kind of touch base, let you know what we're keeping our eye on. I invite you to go over and check out that blog. And in that blog, I explained a little more and linked you to how you can contact committee members, how you can submit testimony. So just check that out, and that's going to be easier for you than me trying to explain it. Other than that, there is a tax credit bill, SB 53, sponsored by Nick Schroer, that is in the Senate Education Committee, but it is not being heard yet. So we're just keeping an eye on it. We are not a fan of a tax credit for homeschooling. We're keeping an eye. We will let you know if we need to take more action on that. There's several bills we are watching. The other thing I wanted to say, you may have seen our post this week. Just so you know, we are aware that on January 29th, President Trump signed a executive order called Expanding Educational Freedom and Opportunity for Families. That bill, or that executive order, from what I understand, is looking at the funding formula for federal money that comes into the school districts and seeing it's directing them to fund school choice from our federal dollars. We have the same position about federal dollars as we do about state dollars. We would not be in support of that. But this is new and we don't know much about how this is going to be implemented yet. So I just wanted you to know that we are keeping an eye on that. We will communicate when we know more. That is all I'm going to say today. And I would invite you, like I said, go check out our blog. We went into detail about that. Also, if you are on our email list, you should be getting an email tonight or tomorrow with links to everything I talked about and some other fun and interesting things we're doing, some volunteer opportunities we're doing. We have a legislative training Zoom meeting. I'm bungling the name, but we have a Zoom meeting on Monday night at 8:00 where we want to teach you a little more about how to read legislation, how a bill becomes a law, and how you can arrange a field trip for your family to go down to the Capitol, how you can meet your legislator. And if you're interested in that, I would invite you to make sure you're clicking on the link in the email and you get signed up so we can send you the Zoom link. If you're not yet on our email list, go to MissouriHomeschool.org and be sure you sign up for our emails so that you get updates. We're going to try to be really good about updating you every week through the session. All right, you guys have a great night, and happy Sunday. Bye-bye.